Hey friends! Last week in art class we read this book, The Rainbow Fish. I know the words are backwards right now. We read this story last week and today we are going to be drawing our own fish. If you remember, the rainbow fish had all these beautiful scales, and at the very end of the book the rainbow fish decided to share his shiny scales so that all of his friends had their own one shiny special scale. So what we're going to do today is make fish. You're going to make your own kind of fish. It doesn't have to look like rainbow fish. It can be any kind of fish you want, but it does need to have some scales. Some of you might want to make a shark, and sharks don't have scales, but you know what you can do? You can just use your imagination, and you can make it kind of look like a shark and give it scales and invent your own fish, okay? We're going to be super creative here, but we need to have scales because we're going to make one of the scales really, really special. All right, so you're going to be using your yellow folder, and I'm going to turn my camera around. Hang on one second. Okay, so in my yellow folder, we want to use starts with a P, printer paper. Nice thin paper. This is the best paper to use when we use markers, I think. Okay. We need to use some pencils and markers and crayons. If you don't have markers, it's okay. Or if you don't have crayons, you can use markers. You can decide. To make our fish, I'm going to show you two different ways. We want our fish to be nice and big, so put your hand on the paper. Your fish has to be bigger than your hand. Okay, so I'm going to just start with an oval. See how nice and big this is? Yours might be smaller, and that's okay, but we want it to be pretty big. I think I'm going to put a tail fin right here. I'm going to come down, and maybe this will come in like that. And the rainbow fish had lips. That was kind of funny. I don't know if I'm going to do lips, but I'll go like this, and I'll use my eraser. Your fish can look different, okay? I just do not want you to do a fish that's this big. That is way too tiny. So fill up your whole paper, okay? My fish is going to have an eye. That's pretty good. And now I think I'm going to do some fins. Or, sorry, not fins, some scales. You know what? First, I think I'm going to put a fin on the top and on the bottom. Now, for my fish, I would like to do outlining with marker. So I'm going to trace the whole thing with marker around the outside. So I traced it with red marker and a little bit of purple on the fins. Now to do the scales, I'm going to go like this. First I want to make a section. This will be where the head goes. And then I'm going to go like this for my scales. Maybe the next row of scales will be red. And for fun, I'm going to make them triangle pointed scales, and maybe I'll do my next row of scales with purple. And I'm going to add a few more details. Okay, so I added some stripes, and I think you can hear my kids yelling in the background. They're playing video games. This is not a realistic fish. I'm just using my imagination. Now, remember, one of the scales has to be really special. So I'm going to pick one of these, and I think I'm just going to make some extra special fancy designs. This will have curly cues. You can do whatever you want. Maybe it will be polka dots, or just maybe it'll be your favorite color. Pick one scale to be special. If we were at school, I would give you glitter, but you don't have glitter at home. And if you do have glitter, it makes a big mess, so I would not use glitter. Okay, and now I'm going to start using crayons to color it in. Again, if you don't have crayons, you could do all marker. And if you don't have markers, you could do all crayons, whatever you want. I'm going to color a few things in. Now I finished coloring it in, and I tried my very best. I'm going to show you very quick one more time how to make the fish, just in case it seemed a little hard for you, especially my kindergarten and pre-K friends. Remember, we put our hand in the middle, and just try your best to make a long, skinny circle around your hand. You can close up the circle and think about shapes. Think about maybe a triangle for the mouth, maybe a triangle for the fins at the top and the bottom. And you could even do a triangle for the back fins if you want, okay? And when you're doing the scales, think about all the different kinds of lines we've been learning about. I could do a zigzag line, I could do a bumpy line. I would not do a curly Q line or a dashed line. I'm going to do some more zigzags. Okay, so just try your best and have fun. Here's what I'm looking for. I want you to be creative, have creativity. So don't copy me. You can get some ideas, but try to use your imagination. Be as neat as you can, no scribbling. And I'd like to see some lines on your fish for the scales. And don't forget, make one of the scales super fancy. That's the special scale that the rainbow fish had. I decided to add some eyelashes and some sharp teeth. Be creative. Come up with some really cool designs. Some underwater creepy sea monsters are fine with me, as long as it has one fancy scale. I'm looking forward to seeing what you do. Make sure you send me a picture. Bye.